Good to go. Okay. So we'll continue with the rest of the tutorial after having a couple of beers, so it will be more entertaining now, I'm sure. So to go back, we were talking about the GitHub integration that we have in EasyBuild to automate the workflow of contributing back. There's some stuff under the covers. There's this check GitHub option that we found out the hard way that we really need to make sure that people have things configured correctly, that the GitHub token is in place, that GitPython is there, that you actually have a fork to push to, that the pushing works with the token you give it, and so on. So based on the checks it does here, it will tell you what is supported. So from PR you can basically always use. You don't need to use a GitHub token for that. It will just pull it from GitHub. And as soon as you don't, or as long as you don't do like 20 of these in an hour, you'll be fine. But at some point, GitHub will start complaining that you're doing things too frequently. If you have a GitHub token, that will not happen. For new PR and update PR, you need push writes to your repository, so then you really need a token. There's no other way. Review PR is also read-only, so you can get away with not having a token, and uploading a test report needs permissions to create gists and to add comments to pull requests, so you need a token for that as well. Now, ideally, if you have things configured correctly, you should get an OK for all of these, and then you're good to go to use all these features. So the big feature, or the new feature that was added, is adding support to the EasyBuild, to the EB command to create new pull requests from the command line. So it basically takes care of the whole workflow for you. So you just run this command, and at the end you get a pull request with your easyconfig file. Now, how the easyconfig file is named, it doesn't really care, because it will rename it and put it in the right place as a part of the of what it does. So you get one single EB command, no git commands, no clicking on GitHub. It does everything for you. And it tells you what it's doing. It will pull in the develop branch from the central repository and then create a branch on top of that. So it's showing you here, it has created this branch. It uses the software name and version to come up with a sensible branch name. And it uses the date and timestamp to ensure there's a unique branch name pretty much. So if you run this multiple times, you'll get a different branch name every time. It renames and relocates the easyconfig file, so it puts it in the right directory, gives it the right name based on the toolchain, the version suffix, the version, and so on, so you don't have to do the renaming manually. It will target the develop branch of the central repository by default, but you can actually use the same thing to target your own repository. Like for CSCS, for example, who has a central repo of their own, they could use this as well if they want to. It will auto-format or auto-generate a title for the pull request, which makes sense according to what we try to get people to do. So module class, toolchain, software name, software version. And it will mention in the description that it was created with new PR as a self-promotion kind of thing. It shows you the overview of what's included in the branch. So here we're adding one single easyconfig file with all new lines, so we're not changing an existing one. And it will open the pull request and give you the link to the PR on GitHub. So basically all of this, and this is very short. If you know what you're doing, you can 1, 2, 3, 4, like 7 commands. You can do it. Now it's just one command, very short. And you don't have to do all of the renaming and checking and make sure everything is okay. That helps a lot. No Git interaction, no GitHub interaction. Another benefit is it doesn't create, it creates a local branch on your system, but in a temporary directory, and as soon as new PR completes, it's cleaned up. So you don't even have a local branch to clean up in your clone of the easyconfigs repo, so that's very useful. And even for people that are used to Git and GitHub, it saves a lot of time. It's a single command, it does everything for you, and less stuff to clean up afterwards. Very similar. Updating is an existing pull request. Works very similarly. You give it the number of the existing pull request, the easyconfig file to add, and this may be one that exists already, so you just change a couple of things You give it a sensible commit message. So in this case, you have to give it a commit message yourself. It won't make any guesses of what was changed. And it will go ahead and do the whole cycle, checking out the right branch that corresponds to the pull request, pulling in that branch locally in a temporary directory, copying the easyconfig file here into the right location, and doing the commit. So that's copying, doing the commit with the message you give it, and then pushing that branch into your fork, which basically updates the pull request. So again, all of these commands, assuming you know what the branch name is and what kind of git magic you have to pull, is now changed to a single command in EB, and there's no mess left around afterwards. The other way around, sort of, pulling in from a pull request. This is mainly for testing contributions. You give EB from PR the pull request number. It will pull in all the easyconfig files that were touched in that pull request, and it will build them by default, or you could do dry run on them, or check style, or check contrib, all these things, just to see if things work on your test system. And again, this is all done under /tmp, so once this completes, everything is blown away. There's no mess left after. And this is what we use all the time for testing contributions. And in combination with from PR, you can do upload test report, so like this. You just combine from PR with upload test report.
Go back one slide.
Go back, okay.
One nifty feature here is that you can specify which easyconfig you want to pull.
Yeah, so one thing you can do here, if a pull request has multiple easyconfigs that it's touching, so say it's a big PR with 10 easyconfigs, as a part of the command line, you can specify one of them, and then it will only test that one. If you want to test one specific one with a particular tool chain, or you only care about testing one of the easyconfigs, you can do it as well. So you combine it with upload test report, it will do the build fully, and then at the end, it will upload the test report in a gist on GitHub and add a comment in the PR to mention there's a test report for it. So this looks like this. This was me testing one of the pull requests, and Adam was testing the same PR, but he was using CentOS 6, so it was failing for him. It was working for me. And then this is the link to the gist, which has the details about what kind of system, what kind of EasyBuild configuration. And if something failed, this is a successful one, so it just gives you some metadata about the test environment. If it fails, for the builds that fail, it will give you a link to the build log, so you can click this and figure out what's going wrong. The build log is partial here to prevent the gist from being 100 megabytes or something being uploaded. So it's only a partial gist, only the last part. It's usually enough to figure out what the problem was. So a maintainer, or say somebody opens a pull request, a maintainer sends a test report that failed. If the contributor knows what's going on, he can figure it out by himself, fix it by himself. And so that's kind of what we're trying to get to, that contributors can figure things out by themselves, fix it by themselves without us telling them how to do it. Then one thing that was added later, and this is mainly for maintainers, but actually anyone can use it. What we're doing here is comparing a new easyconfig file with existing easyconfig files. So say you're adding an easyconfig file for a new version of CMake that has just been released today. You create a new easyconfig file, open a pull request for it, a new PR. A maintainer will use EB review PR with the pull request number, and it will just show a diff between existing easyconfig files and the new one. And it will jump out, oh, this is really a version update, nothing else has changed. So if the test report passes, this should be good to go. And this is very hard to do manually, because you will have to do the manual visual comparison, and it does a diff for you. And the detail here is it does a multi-diff. So it will compare one easyconfig file with multiple others. So say you have CMake version 4, and there's existing easyconfigs for version 3 and 2 already. It will do a multi-diff, and so show in the version 4, the version has changed from 3 or 2 to 4. So this gives a nice overview. And this is not something that GitHub can do, because this is EasyBuild aware diffing. So if you don't know what easyconfig files are, you cannot make this by yourself, or GitHub cannot do this. And later on, we also figured out this is actually also useful for contributors, so they can do a preview of a pull request and just run it. So you can review on an existing pull request or preview on an easyconfig file, and we show you a diff view like this. So here it's showing this new easyconfig file you're adding, BAM tools, this version. The closest one I could find was this older version of BAM tools, and the only difference is the version and the checksum. Nothing else is different. Yeah.
So, where do you draw the line where it's sensible to actually make a pull request?